As a finance professional in a As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Dear professional colleagues, students and friends of the institutes, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and you're welcome to another episode of ICAN-ngr. Today, Thursday, the 2nd day of February, 2023, the first in the fabulous February series, proudly brought to you by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I'm your host, Olamide Balogun, FCA. It's always good to know that you're connected with us every Tuesday and Thursdays to share in this wonderful educative session. And I would like to say a big thank you as we dive into topical issues concerning our profession, our country, Nigeria, and indeed the world in general. On today's episode, we'll be taking a close look at the topic, cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. Cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. And our guest for today is no other person than Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz, ACA. A brief profile about Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz. Mr. Abdulaziz is a technology-inclined and certified fraud examiner, forensic accountant, IICFIP and AIF, information system auditor, and a chartered accountant, offering more than a decade cross-functional and cross-sectorial experience spanning across consulting, oil and gas, public service sectors, with a track record of identifying, mitigating, and investigating financial risk, fraud, and malpractice, while leveraging forensic expertise and technology. He is skilled in forensic investigation, fraud governance, anti-fraud strategy deployment, fraud monitoring and management, fraud loss recovery, loss prevention, investigation, project management, internal audits and control, process design and re-engineering, research and advisory, risk management, business process audits, data analysis, and integrity asset management audits, as well as cybersecurity aimed at promoting excellent practice. Definitely, you can tell, my viewers, that our guest today is supercharged and ready to tackle the topic of discourse. I'll go on a quick break right now where we pay our bills. As we always tell you, this is an avenue for you to bring your products and your services where you can reach millions of people on a global scale. So I'll go on a quick break and I'll come back in with our guest. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. And like I said, our guest is right here and fully charged to tackle the topic of discourse. Mr. Abdulaziz Ghazali, welcome on board ICAN on Hair. Can you
Thank
hear
you very
me?
much, Mr. Olamide. I can hear you, Mr. Balogun. How are you today, sir?
Very
I'm
well, thank
really
you. Very
excited
well,
to be
thank
here
you.
with you today.
It's a pleasure to have you join us on this episode of the Fabulous February series and being the first person to launch it for us. And what precise and very concise topic we'll be discussing, that's cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. And I'll just dive straight into it by saying the world has gone digital, and for businesses and individuals to remain relevant, adoption of the digital lifestyle is inevitable. However, one of the major risks bedeviling the digital environment is cybersecurity risk, and we are blessed to have you on the show today, sir. Let's start this way. What is cybersecurity, and how does it affect businesses and individuals?
Thank you very much. Lovely question. So, as you have rightly said, the world has transformed, and I can say that the world has reformed in so many ways. One of the critical things we must know is that the way we used to do things before, like 2 or 3 years, 4, 5 years back, it's not the same way. Things are changing. We have witnessed a lot of transformation from industrial revolution to where we are at today. We are talking about Internet of Things. We are talking about renewable energy. So with all this, there are a lot of opportunities for business world. The business ecosystem is so large. Everybody is trying to play catch up and fit into the space. Now, as an accountant, it is very important we know what the cyberspace is talking about. See, as an accountant or as an auditor, coupled with my experience in the private sector and the public sector, I believe I have worked as an IT auditor, I have worked as a system auditor, and I've gathered a lot of experience from that control perspective. As an accountant, we have a lot of ethical role, we have a lot of professional behavioral role to play in the digital space. Now we talk about business processes. Our business processes is under our custodian, and we are expected to play a strategic and leadership role. What is cybersecurity, as I have rightly said? We always say that the rise of transformative technology, such as sophisticated information technology, robotic processes, blockchain, artificial intelligence, automation, and machine learning are undoubtedly raised concerns among accountants. Cybersecurity has become a top concern for board of directors, for business owners, because the level of risk and exposures of businesses unbelievable. So as accountants and as a control expert, we are expected to play a leading role in that space. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity can be defined as the process or the practice of protecting information assets, ranging from your application on the system, your mobile devices, your corporate and individual network, and all other relative or related information assets that is used by employees and the organization as a whole.
Thank you so much for that definition. And it's actually quite precise. We must learn to protect all the information assets that we have under our purview, both as accountants and as auditors. We are charged to do this. In the same way, would you like to explain how cybersecurity affects businesses and individuals?
Thank you very much for that lovely question, Mr. Balogun. Statistics has shown that throughout the world, we are heavily exposed, both individually and corporate-wise. According to our national dailies last year, Nigeria's cybercrime rose by 174%. Within 6 months, individuals were affected, business organizations were also affected. I can tell you confidently, sir, and my audience, that it's only 5% of corporate files and individual records that are protected. What happened to the rest 95%? They are heavily exposed. So that shows that there are vulnerability And we have threat outside there. We have threat actors that can leverage on the vulnerabilities that we have already. And I can also tell you confidently that 68% of business owners, they believe they are not secured. The statistics are out there. 68% of business owners, they believe they are not secured. Do you know that according to record, we have billions of data that is being gathered every second, every minute? I can tell you confidently that we have 2.9 record that is being created in Facebook activities, the personal identifiable information of users of such platform. What about e-commerce, the e-business? We talk about Alibaba, we talk about ShopRite, we talk about eBay. We have people that shop online. You use your MasterCard, you use your personal, you key your personal information. These are sensitive and critical information. So we are heavily exposed. Either we take it or we leave it. As an organization, you have third-party vendors that you transact with. You share some sensitive information about your corporate, about your corporate organization. So we have a lot of things. Individuals are exposed. Corporate organizations are also exposed. So we need to be on top of this. I can also tell you something. Cyber security is a thing that has come to stay. And we must not play catch-up. Every organization must make sure they put their staff. Because security, gone are those days. Say that internal controllers are in charge of security. But now, control is a function of everybody. Right from the top, that's the board, to the least person in the organization. Because we are strong as our weakest link. So everybody in the organization has a critical role to play. I'll give you instances. The janitors that clean an organization can expose an organization if a USB flash is not well secured, is not well kept. So these are things that we need to know. What are the security policies that are put in place by our organization? What are the individual safeguards that we have? So we are exposed. Either we take it or we leave it. Thank you very much, sir.
Very well put, sir. We are exposed. Is either we take it or we leave it, and we cannot afford to pay lip service to cybersecurity. It is everyone's job, both from the top board directors to the least person in the organization. Everyone needs to be kept on track of being cyber secure. Sir, being a cybersecurity expert, our global viewers would like to know why cybersecurity is so important in today's business environment. Could you please run us through the types of cybersecurity that are out there?
So before you talk about the type of cyber security that are out there, thank you very much for this wonderful question. Let's talk about the cyber attack, because you cannot secure what you don't know. That's the simple truth. So let's talk about the cyber attack. So we have the malware, we have phishing, we have man-in-the-middle attack, we have DOS that we call DOS. That's distribution. That's a denial of service. So it can also be called DDoS. That's distributed denial of service. We also have what we call the mal-advertising. That's advertisingware. We now have the ransomware. So we have a lot of that. But not to bore you with all this. Let's talk about the malware. Malware is a shortcut for malicious software. There is no application that can run without any software being embedded on it. So we have crime. We have people that have malicious acts that we call threat actors that install malicious software on your system just to hijack your system, retrieve sensitive information, or damage your system. That's what they want to do. So cyber attack is done either for financial gain or non-financial gain. It can be to damage the integrity of the organization. So we are highly exposed. So we talk about phishing. So phishing is all about social engineering. People try to be nice to you. Under phishing, that's where we have vishing, we have smishing. People will send a mail to an organization, especially the accountant, and that's where we need to be very careful. Accountant needs to be very careful and read between the lines. Who is sending the mail to you? Is it your trusted vendor? Somebody that is on your vendor list, or somebody that is on your vendor list is sending a mail to you, and you're not taking your time to look at it. And if what is sent to you that have been manipulated. So people can, for example, if you have a particular organization like ABC Limited, An invoice can be sent by ABC Nigeria Limited. You understand? So if you don't pay attention to this, you just fall prey of that. We also have what we call man in the middle attack. That is sniffing. So when your network is not secure as an organization or as an individual, if you don't use secure network, people sniff your communication because communication is between two or more devices. So whether the other end is sending something to you, you are receiving it here. So man in the middle, we sniff your information, we edit it and send what he wants to the receiver. And that's what we talk about called encapsulation. Encapsulation has to deal with protecting of information from one end to the other. And I can tell you that very serious organizations, they do what we call dedicated line when it comes to communication channels. They want to have a convenient way or a more secure way of transferring their information, especially those organizations that deal with critical information. So when you talk about information layers, we have some information that are very critical, we have some information that are very sensitive, we have information that are private, we have information that are public. So you can't afford to play
very well.
when you know the sensitivity of your industry and you will
Very
allow
well put.
your information, your critical information to be sniffed.
Excellent, excellent. I guess that will now dovetail into the question of the types of cybersecurity that are out there. If you care to share with our viewers so they can be abreast with that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are a lot of cybersecurity issues that are outside there. You know, as I've stated earlier, as an accountant, basically, you should know that you are you are you are very significant to your organization. Your concern should be more on attack on your infrastructure. So we have application security, we have network security, and we have device security. Now, as an accountant, what application are you do we have running on your system? We have FreshBook, we have NetSuite EP, we have Paychecks, we have Sage 500, Sage 100, we have cloud services. So your application can be attacked. And even beyond that, we talk about API, integration of one application to another. For example, as an accountant or as a financial controller of an organization, your payment gateway, your payment solutions, how secure are they? How secure are they? So if you look at the interlink between your payment gateway and, for example, InterSwitch, for example, have we done a due diligence on InterSwitch? How last do you have cybersecurity report of InterSwitch? Have we confirmed the attack that was made on InterSwitch infrastructure? So as I stated earlier, we have application security. Your application can be attacked. Next is the network. How secure is the network of your corporate organization that all these applications are running on? Because most of these applications we use these days, they are web applications. They are not standalone applications. They are cloud applications. They are not on the premise.
Very
So
well
we have
put.
a critical role to play as an accountant. Whenever they are going to deploy any application that will affect payment solutions, especially customers' information, you have a critical role to play. And that is why software development life cycle, security is very crucial from the beginning, from the design stage. You don't wait on the user acceptance phase, because you see most organizations, when they are now deploying organization to application to an organization, they will call users. Okay, let's do user acceptance test. Is this application working as expected? No, users should be called as early as possible, right away from the design phase.
Well put, excellently put, sir. Thank you so much. And for our viewers who are just joining us, we are being guested by Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz. And the topic of discourse for today is cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. And in our usual fashion, we encourage you to please send in your questions from everywhere you're connected from. And I can see a question ready from Mr. Sanusi. And he's saying, and let me read this to you, Mr. Ghazali. He's saying, cybersecurity function is mainly identify, protect, detect, and respond and recover. What are the measures as professional a professional can adopt to be proactive than reactive?
Thank you very much for that lovely question, Mr. Olusi Sanusi. I believe that's the name I'm right. Now, one of the critical things you need to do is the necessary skill acquisition. You need to be well informed. You need to have the prerequisite knowledge because you can't defend what you don't know. Now we've broken down the cyber attack we could ever face as an organization or as an individual. But what have you done to gather necessary knowledge? Now, one of the things that you also need to do, what are your risks register? Do you understand your business process end to end? Do you know what your organization is doing? I can tell you so many accountants work in an organization that they don't know their business process. They're already concerned about customer making payment. They're already concerned about making financial statements. They're already concerned about, I'm going to let you know. So one of the most important, as I've already said, is identification. So how do you identify? Is inventory. You must be very sure that all information assets of your organizations are adequately identified. Because if you don't know all those information assets, you cannot adequately protect them. Because I've earlier stated, we are strong at our weakest link. If an asset or an information asset is vulnerable, it can lead to the attack of critical and sensitive assets. Especially this period, we talk about bring your own device to an organization. People come with their own device to an organization. They come with their personal laptop. They come with their personal. So they come in there. So all these things need to be identified. How protected are they? COVID-19 has exposed us to remote working. People work remotely from home, right? Do we have corporate antivirus? Somebody just spoke about antivirus here. So as an accountant, you must make sure that you concentrate on inventory of all information assets, the ones that are used collectively and the ones that are used individually by other units or departments.
Very well put. Very well put. And I would say that just as a follow-up question to you, that given the importance that cybersecurity has brought into the business environment, are there special skill sets required by individuals working in a digital environment that will aid their cybersecurity awareness and skills, and how do such individuals acquire such skills?
Thank you very much. We have, gone are those days that you have only professional courses. Now we have short certificate that people can do. I can tell you there are 1 month, or let me just say 2 weeks certificate in cyber security. We have a particular course on what we call business, and we have information asset and business resilience. You can do short course like that. Even certified information security auditor. Now they have modular certification. Without going through all the old module, you can do modular certification. Apart from you being exec savvy, you know what accountant concentrate on mostly is being exec savvy. They will know how to use pivot table. They know how to do analysis with that. Those are just big data. But as an accountant, you must know that you have a lot of critical and sensitive information. I can tell you that even the HR needs to do a lot of things. When you are recruiting accountants, when you are recruiting auditor, what level of due diligence do we do about them? You know your organization. You know how exposed you are as an organization. What is your prerequisite when you are recruiting an accountant? You don't only need I can tell you that there was a particular statistic that we got last 2 weeks. When you see how people are shifting ground from account profession to IT profession, is unbelievable. But that is not true. We accountants are also doing well in the IT world. You understand? We are trying to put ourselves at the front runner. That we can do it because you can't allow IT to be the chief auditor of an organization or the chief control of an organization. So we need to acquire things like FISA. We need to acquire certification like CF, which is certified for examination. System is on the I side because system is more technical. But as an accountant, I think FISA, CFE, and some other short courses It's good for us. Thank you very much.
Thank, thank you so much, Mr. Ghazali. And like I usually say, viewers, please keep putting your questions. Our guest is on ground to tackle them appropriately. The topic of discourse today has been cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. And our guest for today is Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz. And one of our guests is also one of our viewers is posting a question to you, the person of Mr. Enoch Silas. He's saying, what are the internal control measures to tackle cybercrime within an organization?
Thank you very much, Mr. Silas. As I've earlier stated, if you look at internal controls of information asset, the first thing you need to do is what we call enumeration, identification of your asset. Once you have identified your asset, you now need to do what we call classification. You have to classify them based on the level of criticality. Now, for example, if you're in an organization that you are into health sector, what are the assets that are critical to the organization that are very sensitive? You, as you have said, you cannot protect what you don't know. Now, as an internal controller, we have these information assets. Do you know your servers? Do you know the server that warehouse your data? Do you know the server that warehouse your password? So you should know that there's what we call password server, there's what we call email server. So you need to drill down. You need to work with your IT team a lot because you have to have a lot of relationship with your IT team. As you move ahead, it's not about what you can do, but it's about your relationship with people across board. So you need to have very good relationship with the director of IT. So what do we have? Can we have the list of our information assets? It's my responsibility as an internal controller to reduce our risk to the barest minimum. And for every organization, there's what we call inherent risk. And then there's what we call residual risk. So most organizations want to accept the residual risk if our residual risk is 5%. So we shouldn't go beyond that. That's our risk appetite. So you must understand your risk appetite as internal controller. And you must understand the assets that are critical to your organization. You must have frank conversation with business process owner. And what I'm saying business process owner is that as an internal controller, you are performing a partnership function. You are performing a partnership function. You must know who are those that own this business. There's what we call data owner, there's what we call data custodian. If you have a relationship with IT department, you must know that IT department, most of the things they do is that they are custodian of data. But there are critical departments and units that owns those data. Do you have meeting with them, one-on-one session with them to understand how their business process is? We won't just sit down and be looking at sales. We key in their sales record as at yesterday. We move with all the units. Let's understand their business process, and that's how we can help them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As an accountant in an organization, you need to move closer and work closely with people so you can get the proper feedback, and there's unity in strength, so you can leverage on that strength and get your work done appropriately. Very well put, sir. And as we dig further in our conversation, please help us clarify this. What is cybercrime, and what are the causes of cybercrime?
So thank you very much. We all know what crime is, right? And we all know what cyber is. Cyber is just airspace. So cybercrime are all those crimes that are committed in the cyberspace. Now, if I come to your organization, for example, and I steal your customer register, the register that contains the list of your customer, that's not a cybercrime because I actually came into your organization, right? But at the other hand, if I'm seated in my own office and I gain access into your database, because those records you have manually, you may also have them digitally. So if I sit in my office and I gain access into your corporate environment and steal customers' information, that's cybercrime. So the same information that can be stolen if I come to your organization, maybe through burglary theft, it's the same information I also steal if I attack you online.
Very well
So
put.
cybercrime are all those things that are committed using the cyberspace.
Excellent. And would you like to share some causes of cybercrime? Why would anyone probably want to do that?
Yes, excellent question. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, you see, people have different motivation for committing crime. And that's why we talk about rationalization. People have a lot of reason for committing any crime. So if you're an investigator or if you have done fraud investigation, you know about now people commit crime, they commit cyber crime as a result of financial need. That's when the organization suffer what we call financial loss. But I can tell you that people can also commit crime, cyber crime specifically, as a result of reputational damage. What about competitive edge? The organization you work for example, they have competitor. Let's give an instance. Dangote and Lafarge, for example, they are very close competitor. You understand? There's what we call espionage. People want to steal competitors' information. So for you to have competitive, that's why as an accountant, you must be an all-rounder. You are not only a financial person that will be sitting at your table. You must understand your business ecosystem. We were taught SWOT analysis when we were in school. We must know about the strength and weakness of the organization. What are the opportunities and the threats the organization have? So the opportunity of the organization must be that I must bring my competitor down. So competitor also commit what we call cybercrime because they want to have competitive edge against their competitor. I can tell you that the war between Russia and Ukraine, we had cyber war before the physical war. So there's what we call cyber terrorism as well, apart from cyber crime. So there are a lot of reasons for cyber, either financial reasons, to damage reputation, a lot of that.
Excellent, excellent. And our global viewers are really, really intrigued and are really getting excited about this topic because, like you said, this is a topical issue. We all need to get abreast of it and we all need to guard our data and information appropriately. Sir, when experts like you are talking about pillars of cybersecurity, layers of cybersecurity, domains of cybersecurity and cyberspace, what exactly are you talking about? Our global audience won't mind being taken to the classroom for you to break it down for them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. It has been an interesting session, to be sincere. But the truth is, I want to talk about pillars of cybersecurity. So it all boils down to what we call CIA triad. So CIA triad has to do with confidentiality, integrity, availability. But among that, also what we call non-repudiation and authenticity. But let me concentrate on the first three: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, why do we need cybersecurity? We need to, I've told you that we have to classify our data. We have to classify our information asset. Data is an information asset. Data is big oil, especially if you look at the generation we have now. It's more than oil. People trade on data. So those information, those data needs to be protected. You don't want to fall prey of the regulators. We can't talk about cybersecurity without talking about regulators. That's what we call the GDPR. That's what we call NISDA in Nigeria. So for every corporate organization or for every individual that collects sensitive information, you have the obligation to protect them against data breach. Do you know the cost of data breach for an organization? It costs millions of dollars. So confidentiality means that all information that you have collected for one reason or the other must be protected, must not be accessed by unauthorized users. That's confidentiality in the simplest form. What about integrity? The data you have with you must not be manipulated. So to achieve all this, that is an endpoint. But there must be processes put in place by an organization That's what we talk about security policy, for example. An organization must have security policies. Your employee cannot just come to an organization and they misbehave with their password policies. For example, you see people putting their password on a sticker and put it on their screen. So things like employee is the greatest asset an organization can have, and they must be well educated in terms of all these pillars. Because if your employee has exposed you by not behaving in an ethical manner, it brings issue to an organization. So confidentiality is one, integrity is another thing. What about availability? If your network is not well protected, we talk about application security. We talk about network security. This is where network security is relevant. We talk about denial of service. People can send unwarranted, unexpected traffic into your organization, into the network of into your application, and you have access. People want to log in. For example, we are witnessing a lot of things these days. You want to use your app, you cannot use your bank app. There is what we call denial of service. We should know that something is happening to the database. So have you tested your database against resilience? There's what we call resilience testing. When you have a lot of traffic and your database witness traffic. So those are the pillars. You must work towards ensuring confidentiality, integrity, availability.
Very well put. Very well put. It's really an interactive session. I can see our viewers really glued in, and because it's a very technical subject, and we're very grateful to have you on board, Mr. Ghazali. The way you're breaking it down step by step. Due to the technical nature of this subject, our global viewers are glued, like I rightly said earlier, and they're ready and willing to learn more. When we hear about principles of cybersecurity and steps of cybersecurity, do they mean the same thing, or are they two different things?
Yeah, they are absolutely the same thing. They are synonymous, to be candid, because the principle of cybersecurity is to ensure that all data assets or all information assets are protected. So the most important thing is to ensure that, for example, if you look at the layers of cybersecurity, we talk about the mission critical asset. Now we talk about data security. Under the layers, we have endpoint security, the end users. And we have application security that I've mentioned. But the most important one, we talk about principle of cybersecurity, is the human layer. The human layer is very, very important. Organization must continuously invest in the training, retraining of the organization. Because if you don't train your organization, you're exposing yourself. Social engineering is on the high side. And if you look at the statistics of cybersecurity, phishing is taking the lead. The principle of cybersecurity is that if you smell a rat, what would you do? You protect yourself. And I can tell you, sir, for every internal controller or for every auditor or for every accountant in the room, if you are asked, are we secure? What would you say? Somebody will say that we are secure. That's a very wrong answer. If you're asked, if your boss asks you, are we secure? Yeah, let me check. What should be your answer? Let you check. Because on a second basis, you are exposed. Because the truth is that as you are deploying your strategies, I can tell you that the hackers, the cyber attackers, they are moving 10 steps ahead of you. So let me check. If you have checked and you still confirm that you are secure, your boss might go further to ask you, are we secure tomorrow? The simple answer is I don't know, sir. Because between now and tomorrow morning, we don't know what will happen. So everybody is constantly being attacked, either as an individual or as an organization. So the principle of cybersecurity is the same thing throughout the world. Because we have one common culture throughout the world, that is technology, the internet. And what is the common language? Is the protocol. You can read the protocol of my laptop if you are IT savvy from wherever you are. So either the
Very
network
true.
protocol, the system protocol. So the principle of cybersecurity is the same principle of the world. Thank you very much.
Very well put. And to leverage on what you just said, I guess this would be a follow-up question to what you were talking about, being taking a step further to watch how we answer our questions with our bosses. And so I'll put it this way, that cyber crimes lead to lots of financial and economic losses to individuals, corporate bodies, and even nations. When such havoc occur, what do they mean about the expected and practical roles of professional accountants?
I didn't get that, Mr. Can you please repeat yourself?
Okay, let me phrase it out. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I was asking that cyber crimes lead to lots of financial and economic loss on individuals, corporate bodies, and even nations in the world. When such havoc occur, what do they mean about the expected or practical role of a professional accountant?
Thank you very much. That's a wonderful question. We are exposed, as we have all agreed. As an accountant, what are your rules? You have what we call ethical rules. We have what we call professional behavior rules. And the third rule is disclosure rule. And I will explain those three. What are the ethical rules that is expected of you? And what are the professional behavior rules that is expected? Are you paying what are you discharging your responsibility in a due diligence manner? As an accountant, you are told or you are being invited to a particular meeting that an application will be deployed. And I'll continuously make reference to what we call the gateway system. Every organization is trying to do they are trying to deploy what we call convenient way of making payments, payment solutions, innovative way. As an accountant, are you well involved? Are you well involved in that process? You can't be seated and an IT person will be deploying a payment solution to your organizations and you're not playing critical roles. You have to be involved because you know the end-to-end payment process. All they want to do is to integrate a particular application into your system. So you have a professional duty to make sure that you understand end-to-end. You ask questions. Because if you don't ask questions, when the chips are down, you are responsible for financial loss. I will give you instance. What happened at ShopRite when we were told that over 500 million was carted away with? What is the payment gateway? POS. And so what? What happened to POS? As an accountant, you must have reasonable assurance that that POS payment solution is residing on your network as an organization. And the network is well protected because the information we gathered was that that salesperson or that sales rep came with another POS. One of the duty of an accountant or an auditor is to be inquisitive. There's what we call professional skepticism. You must ask questions. How would this thing work? Right? Now, we have deployed this POS. What if anybody connects from it from outside? Should it work? No, it shouldn't. I can bring POS to your organization. Nobody should be able to make payments on that particular sales platform. Your sales platform will be connected to your So these are the little things. That's why we talk about API security as well. API is application programming interface. POS is an application. The programming interface it must be well secure. So these are the things an accountant must ensure. You must ask questions. What if? What if? What if? And the next one is the disclosure responsibility. We know what disclosure is. We know what disclosure is. If anything happens in an organization like data breach, if we don't disclose, accountants are partly responsible because you are responsible for both financial and non-financial elements of your organization. You are not only responsible for financial transaction. So disclosure is part of our responsibility. We have witnessed a data breach. Mr. MD, I think according to GDPR policy and according to NIDA, it is expedient of us to disclose within 24 hours of notice, because if we do not, the financial loss is bigger than what we know.
Very well put, sir. Disclosure is very key. And as accountants, we are gatekeepers. We need to develop our professional skepticism, be more inquisitive, ask questions, and so we can safeguard and do the right thing at all times. One of our regulars is also here. Once again, I'd like to thank all our viewers connected from everywhere in the world. I can see you from Ibadan to Malaysia to Canada to Laurel in Maryland, everywhere connected. Thank you so much for taking out the time to join us this very evening. And we are being guested by Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz, who has been doing justice to the topic of discourse, which is cybersecurity, what professional accountants must know and do. And one of our senior members, in the person of Mr. Abel, Dr. Abel Hussein is posing this question, and he's saying that, do you encourage corporate entities to hire ethical hackers as part of the strategies to reinforce their firewall?
Dr. Abel, I'm delighted to receive your question. So the truth is that, you see, there's what we call assessment and reassessment of strategy. It is ethically right as an organization to employ who we call ethical hackers. There's what we call penetration testing. It's just for them to test how robust, how effective, how efficient your security controls are, or your security features. Because internal control must be effective and efficient. So if they are not tested, then what's happening? There's no penetration testing I have stated. So it is part of the responsibility of an organization to at least hire ethical hacker to test their information asset. Because if you do not, you won't know how badly exposed you are. You cannot solely rely on your internal strength. So allow people to attack it from outside. Corporate organizations do this a lot, and I don't think there is a problem with that. You must allow people to at least test your security features, because there are limits.
Very well put. Very well put. In it being tested, it can be strengthened. So I would like to leverage that from you. And as a passionate Nigerian, which I know you are, and a security expert, please, how would you rate Nigerian professional accountants' knowledge and skills in cybersecurity? Would you say it's poor, fair, good, or excellent?
So thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. Before I will rate, the question is how many accountants have shown interest in cybersecurity? And the answer is that for those that have known that they are accountants and are into the cybersecurity space, I can tell you they are doing well. They are doing wonderfully well. So the thing is that, should we encourage people to come into that space? The truth is yes, we need to. Because we talk about robotics and artificial intelligence. Our artificial work as an accountant is being eroded. It's been eroded. Either we'll take it or we leave it. We have robots that can prepare fine financial statement, one of the finest financial statements, and they will do this because we have all these standard embedded in softwares. So they will do this. But your machine is as good as whoever is working on it. So it is expected that you also, because if you have your system to do an analysis for you, you should be able to spot any issue that you feel that is not right. And that's why you shouldn't have a financial controller and head of internal control that will just take any information at the face value. You have to scrutinize, and your knowledge of scrutiny, the function of the of the exposure you have. So I think we are not doing badly in that space, though we feel that we can do more because naturally the IT guys they are dominating that, but we must understand our role. We are not competing technically. You see an accountant that is into cyber security. You are learning code. You can learn SQL, but I don't require SQL injection. For example, that's an injection into your database using malicious code. Right. But the truth is that what is your role? You must understand your role. As an accountant, my role, you understand? As an internal controller, what is my role? Are you doing your role well? Do you want to unseat the director of IT? That is not my role. I might not even know how to code, but more importantly, I understand your work. So an accountant must know that debit double entry principle is the same thing all over the world. So the flip side of not securing your organization very well is the financial or integrity loss or reputational loss that you face. That are the double entry to cyber security. If you are unsecure, you suffer financial loss or reputational loss. Thank you very much.
Very well put. Very well put. I love the way you juxtapose the double entry principle into the cybersecurity. Spoken like a brilliant accountant that you are, who is also playing in the cybersecurity world and doing big things. And sir, just for the benefits of our members who are gradually just joining and maybe missed this earlier, even as we gradually wrap up the show, what are the practical steps that can be taken to minimize or eliminate cybercrime? Are there specific skills that a professional accountant require in order to equip themselves and become more efficient and effective in the discharge of their professional responsibilities?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. We have stated this earlier. The skills that are expected of a professional accountant. But more importantly, we have to guide ourselves against social engineering. It is worrisome if an accountant, an auditor, that is either a financial controller or anybody occupying a role in the account department, or an auditor, or an executive, or a director of audit, has experienced what we call phishing attack. Imagine that person exposing the organization. Do you know that these devices we are using, you as a person, for example, your Google account, your children might be using it at home, maybe to download some games on their personal tab. As a person, you are exposed because they don't have a Google account, right? So the truth is that we must be very careful about social engineering. I want to transfer money to you now, for example. You are standing by my side. You said you need 5,000 naira. I'm using USSD. It got to a place I have to put my password. And I cannot just shake a bit and put my password, not because you are my friend. So trust is an issue here. If I shift from you, doesn't mean I don't trust you, but I'm taking the necessary and adequate precaution. Do you know that one of the fast rising cyber attack now is what we call supply chain attack? Because they are attacking organizations now through their vendors. They are attacking organizations now through their vendors because you have a trust on your vendors. Please supply me 25 laptop. You know your vendors has been attacked by an attacker. But that is by the way. But most importantly, as an accountant, you must pay attention to social engineering.
Social engineering.
Please be very about the way you share account. There's no account in an organization. They will send a mail. Everybody in the account department, they have access to that email. You understand? So you can receive email jointly, but you should not send or respond to email jointly. You don't have the same password policy. You don't have the same password. So these are things that we need to take very, 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 very critical. They are very critical. Your email,
Excellent.
your text messages and your login credentials. Please.
Excellent.
Because when the chips are down, there's what we call non-repudiation. We talked about that. Who are you going to hold accountable? The essence of cybersecurity is to ensure that we have accountability. So when we talk about creating login credentials,
very brilliant.
They are going to be onboarded onto any application based on the role you play. You understand? So as an accountant, you must be very careful and ensure that people are given access to what they need to work with on a need-to-know basis.
Very well put.
Some head of accounts are so probably busy doing some other things, and they give their login credentials to their subordinates. You understand? So these are things that we need to take care of. We don't need to do much, but we need to be much more careful. Social engineering attack.
Absolutely. Be more careful and be watchful. And on a final note, I mean, I'm sure our viewers have been really having a great time, even as I've been having anchoring this show and guesting you. And as we just wrap up right now on a pattern note, in closing, sir, ICAN is always open to ideas that will positively advance the growth of our members, the accounting profession, and the Nigerian business environment. Please, what is your advice or suggestion to ICAN as a body to further discuss on cybercrime and cybersecurity? In closing.
So it's a no-brainer. We are professional body, and the economy depends heavily on the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and we have actually been keeping that pace. So we have financial loss day in, day out. The financial sector, I can tell you, huge amount of money that has been lost as a result of cyber attack. We're in fintech era. Even telcos are into financial transactions now. Right. So as a professional body, if you see the way I've been speaking as an accountant and as an auditor. It's different from somebody that is cybersecurity as an IT expert. So I'm a member of the house. I'm a child of the house. So I understand the role that we need to play as an internal auditor or as an accountant. So we need to do more of short trainings, like our MCP that we do. We must encourage at least an accountant or an auditor. You must go through one cybersecurity course in a year. You understand? Because regardless of the sector you find yourself, this digital space cut across all sectors.
Absolutely.
So the MCP is a critical platform that we can pass the message that cybersecurity has come to stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you once again, Mr. Ghazali Abdulaziz. You have been excellent, you've been brilliant, and on behalf of all our viewers, I would like to say a very big thank you for this expose you've given to us. You've taken us to class, you've taken us to the field, you brought us back to the class, and you've wrapped it up, in a very brilliant way. Did you by any chance attend Obafemi University? Because you're talking as if you have that OAU zeal in you.
You're a sports runner. I'm a graduate of Obafemi University, and you know.
So on that note, I can say great Ife.
Great.
Okay, great. So we'll close on that note.
The anthem, yeah?
No, not at all. We're out of time. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to our viewers, that's the show for today. Thank you so much for taking all the time to tune in. And I would like to say a big thank you to each and every one of us. And also, just a quick reminder that the fellowship portal is now open for those who are due for the fellowship. Please kindly go on the ICAN website. That's www.icanig.org to process your fellowship requirements so you can be shortlisted for the forthcoming fellowship conferment. And to all our members, the annual subscription is due. You propose you have to do the needful, so kindly go ahead and do the needful. We have several platforms at which you can make your payments. So till we come your way again next week, Tuesday, with another excellent guest and topic. Do stay safe and have an amazing weekend. On behalf of the producers and the editorial team, I am Olamide Balogun FCA saying thank you for tuning in and bye for now.